With the NFL season coming to an end and a new year about to start, I think it's the perfect time to talk about my best takes this year. And also, Happy New Year's. Number one, I called the Cowboys being bad. And this take wasn't even to be a Cowboys hater. I could really care less about what the Cowboys do. You know what I'm saying? They're not my rival. But from a football fan point of view, you just have to realize the team was getting old, going in the same direction every year, losing pieces. They were going to be bad eventually. The weapons outside of CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson looked mid at best. Losing Tony Pollard, the O-line regressing, and Mike McCarthy still being the coach for some reason, I knew they were destined to fail. And the funny thing is, I predicted their record to be 8-9, so if they beat the Commanders next week, that means I nailed it on the head. Number two, I had the lead catching up to Brock Purdy. Now, this take doesn't mean Brock Purdy's bad, but I just knew he was not going to do what he did this year. I called this before the season started. Now, obviously, I don't have evidence because I only made this account a few days before the season started. But even after Christian McCaffrey got injured and he had to be the focal point of offense, I knew it was doomed. Once again, this doesn't mean Purdy's bad this year, but you could definitely see that the league has caught up with him. And not just him, like the Shanahan system. Like, they know how to actually, you know what I'm saying, scheme around these things to stop this offense. And last year, you could really argue that Purdy had the best, well, not really. Purdy had the best numbers stat-wise. Just specifically talk about stats and, like, lack of turnover. And this year, I know he missed games, and I know there's context, you know what I'm saying? Like, the 49ers were really injured. But even when they were healthy for, like, a few weeks at the point of the season, you could tell it really wasn't the same as last year. Number three, Bryce Young isn't a bust. Oh, man, the first half of the season being a Bryce Young defender was so hard, bro. He was getting compared to Jamarcus Russell. Andy Dalton came in, took the boys to a win. So it proved that the team was at least talented enough to get a win, let alone put points on the board. I don't even think Bryce Young had a touchdown like his first 4 starts or something like that. But to the Bryce Young community, we made it out the mud, bro. Bryce Young looks not great right now, but he looks really good, especially for a second-year quarterback. The numbers aren't going to reflect it, but if you turn that game on, his decision-making has stepped up. His accuracy for sure has stepped up. His pocket presence has stepped up. He's looking like the quarterback of the future. Get this man some weapons. Get this man a couple more O-line pieces. And especially get this man a defense. Oh my goodness, the Panthers defense is terrible. I could see him being a top 10 quarterback in the future. Not right now, but in the future. And lastly, my best take, I called the Bengals being mid this year. If you go back to my first video was football takes for this season. I said the Bengals would be first round exits. And if I'm being completely honest with y'all, I lied. I had them missing the playoffs. I just didn't want to say it because I didn't want to get cooked. Coming into the season, you got to realize the AFC North was the toughest division in the league. Joe Burrow's coming off injury. The O-line simply just isn't talented enough. Like, that's always been the problem with the Bengals. Their second best weapon, T. Higgins, also had injury concerns. Losing Joe Mixon and the defense especially regressing, bro. They lost a lot of pieces on the defense this year. You factor all that in, bro, I knew the Bengals were not going to be this good, man. And the crazy thing about it is they still have a chance to make the playoffs. But if they do make the playoffs, they're going to be the 7th seed. So they're going to go against the 2 seed Bills. They're not beating the Bills, bro. And if they honestly do, bro, I'm going to have to, like, do a dare on this app because I'm so confident in the Bills. And I'm just not confident in the Bengals. I trust Joe Burrow. I trust Jamar Chase. But I do not trust the Bengals defense at all. Anyways, man, if you're liking the content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And check out my worst takes video a few days ago.